Thank you so much for being here today. Today we are speaking with Johan Hanegraaf, who is the co-founder and head product at Arkio. Arkio is a startup creating a unique collaborative VR/AR design tool, which is pretty much like an opportunity for sketching interiors, buildings, virtual spaces, or game environments. It sounds super, super interesting. Johan has a background in architecture, engineering, plus 10 years of experience of working in design, tech for bespoke projects, for example, at Mecanoo. Thank you so much, Johan, for being here today. I am very excited to hear directly from you the story behind Arkio. How did you get started? How Arkio got started? And yeah, all of these ups and downs, we're all for it right now. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm very much happy to talk about a little bit of the journey that I went through. So I'm an architect from my background, and I always had a fascination for technology and using the latest CAD, like 3D tools. And with my previous role at Mecanoo, I also tried to help most of the designers around me to work better on making the building designs they wanted to achieve. And that kind of fascination went from like a fascination into a more professional thing. I started building tools for the architects around me, and that also led me to join the Arkio team about 4 years ago. I was with Hilmar Gunnarsson and Ari Torvartsen. They had a background in like startups before, and they were starting something new with VR, and they decided to involve me in there as the architect in the team. And that's been a pretty interesting ride, because we basically decided to build our own modeling engine from scratch. And I don't know if you know anything about CAD or 3D software, but that's a big challenge, because you need to come up with like we have like a Boolean operation that runs that needs to run very smoothly on like these mobile VR devices you have now, like the Oculus Quest. And we did like a lot of like, let's say, things to make that possible. So the modeling engine that we built, it's driving what Arkio is, and that also allowed us to run it on an iPhone or on all sorts of devices. And because we built the modeling kernel, we could also build it from the start with collaboration in mind. So unless like most of the 3D tools that are out there that are like a single user experience, someone is working on a PC and then they're sharing that model with someone else. Arkio is built from the ground up for VR and for collaboration. So that opens up a lot of opportunities actually to do things in a new way, do things in a completely new way.
Yeah, for sure. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that introduction to what Arkio is. So going a little bit back to the past there, when if you have some background about this, when the first ideas spark about Arkio, why is it, because not everybody is related with virtual reality and augmented reality, why is it that it was virtual reality the best thing to build this into? Why virtual reality and augmented reality?
That's a very good question. So like first time I jumped into VR, I don't know if you had the same experience, like I was blown away by the like how much that really communicated skill. And the experience of architecture is a lot about experiencing the spatiality and seeing everything around you in the correct scale. And for me, it was always mind-blowing to see that other architects were not able to see that, but like the value is right there. So a lot of the tools that we've been seeing that are typically used in architecture now with VR is just viewing models that are like made with like a 2D screen. So you basically design in a 2D screen and then you put on the headset and look around. But I didn't want to stop there. I thought like you have these hands, you have these controllers, and there's so much you can do with that. Like architecture by nature is a very creative profession. We sketch a lot, we make models with our hands. And the moment we go into the field and like start working professionally, we often end up behind a PC 12, 15 hours a day, just working on these building designs on a PC. And with like introducing the spatial hand gestures and controllers and that spatial presence of being in there, possibly with other people, it brings a bit back of that magic of like doing the design charrettes in the university when you were working with several students around the model where you were just working together on something. So we're trying to bring that back as well a bit, like the magic of really working together on a physical model. And of course, in VR, you can enhance it in so many ways. You can just you can jump into that space in human scale. You can move buildings away with a laser. You can just throw things away to delete things. There's a lot of potential fun new ways of interacting with these 3D models.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. Definitely, it brings another layer. It's another experience, totally different experience. And it also happened to me the first time that I wore a headset. It was absolutely mind-blowing, as you explained, to be able to feel that you're sort of like entering in another reality, and that it is actually possible that you're going through that experience. It's fascinating. Mm-hmm. So thank you for sharing that. Speaking about Arkio in the beginnings, when it was being built, it seems it's been a very complex process to replicate all of this in VR. What have been the most, I guess there have been many challenges, but the most difficult ones, and how you were able to overcome them, even if it comes from the designing the app or the actual development, the coding, etc. How was that process?
So I think there were two like main challenges that we had to work around and come up with solutions. Like one of them was the way we could do modeling in VR. So it's to run pretty complex modeling operation, like typically like a Boolean operation in a 3D application. It freezes your PC for like a couple of frames, and then you see the result. So that's something we couldn't do in VR, of course, because like you cannot have the frames to stop for 2 seconds because people will get sick. So we had to come up with the modeling engine. That was one of the big challenges to get that right. So we could do these cuts into the buildings, and we can make edits on the geometry. And another thing that was challenging is making it simple enough for people to use, because typically CAD 3D tools, they have like a lot of little tool icons, ribbons. There's a lot of things involved in making a 3D model. And we highly reduced the number of tools and simplified the UX in such a way that most people grab it pretty fast. They just start playing with the tools and messing around. And part of that like magic there was that we made most of the tools that you could select. So you could literally pick a tool from a little palette that you have on your hand. So that's way to work with it. But we basically allowed that to also do the operation with your hand. So you could literally reach into the shape that you want to move and you just pick it up, or you can pick a point of that shape and you stretch that point up, or you pick like a collection of trees by just touching the lowest plane, and then all the trees at top will move with it. So we really try to stay very close to like the nature of how people already know how to work with physical models and with hand gestures, to prevent a lot of the UX complexity of a typical CAD application.
Yeah, that was gonna be another of my questions. How was the design and vision? Like, the UI, UX, How was that process, and how many people like work in that from the beginning in all of this, making all of this a reality?
So it's funny. We've been working on this almost for like, it's almost 5 years now, actually. But we had so many alterations of that UX UI, and the team actually has been pretty small since the start. It's been Ilmar, our CEO, me, and one other person focusing on the UI UX. But it basically took us 3 years to get to where we are now with the circular UI and like some of the simplifications we did there. And it's still an ongoing process. Like it's still not where we want it to be. We still want to make it easier to use and even more like minimalist. So that it will still improve in the next few years, months.
Yeah, how many developers did you need to build this type of app?
So currently we are with 12 people. So the team is relatively small, but we are like we're all very skilled. Like there's like a lot of specialism, and a lot of our team members also have a background in architecture. So that helps as well because then they understand like some of the other CAD like modeling applications, and it makes it a bit easier also to like to communicate the intent, or like how the user will probably most likely expect things to work. So that's yeah, it's really fun to work with the team. It's a startup, so it's always busy, always hectic. I think it's the same with gaming and like other applications you're building. Like it's a roller coaster ride, like a lot of sprints. But like what we managed to achieve in this a pretty short time, I'm really proud of that with the team.
Yeah, amazing. So with Arkio, what exactly we would be able to do? There are different stages in the design, right? Like there is definitely prototyping. Then there is a process where we actually put more like textures or change how it's going to be rendered, etc. It's up to where, like what are the boundaries of Arkio, what we can do?
Yeah, so we started originally, and that was with the first alpha users that we had, like some of the architecture firms that we worked with in the beginning. It was the early stages of the design. So the blocking out or the massing out of an urban context or a building shape, that's where we started. We are expanding on that capabilities. We recently added like components like stairs, doors, and like more detailed objects to place into those 3D environments. And we're planning to keep extending that further. But like a lot of the like design processes with architecture, but also game design, theater design, they still there's a lot of usage of all other softwares as well. So we saw that was one of the things that also our users were saying in the beginning. You like at some point it goes to like a Revit or a Rhino or like Unity, and the designers that we worked with, they also wanted connections to those applications. So that's been like a vital part for us as well, to have really good connections to a Unity or to Revit, so people could bring their like more developed designs into Arkio, draw and meet on top of those models new suggestions, and then they can bring those new suggestions back to the original design tool. And the latest like version of Arkio that now got published on the Quest store, that one comes with the Unity integration, and that's like so far our most integral connection, because the Unity scene can actually be loaded to Arkio. All the game objects and everything that was placed in Unity will be movable game objects. So the level designers could basically just meet in VR or with an iPad on their game level. They could move some things around, they can block out, mesh out, gray box some new parts of the level, and they can bring all those changes back to Unity, and everything will update to the correct position and move to the new positions where the user would edit it.
Yeah, wow, amazing. Have you had opportunities or situations where it has been used for game environments, and how is the finishing or rendering process works? Because in the community there might be some people who are in the process of creating this type of apps or experiences. So I wonder, how does it work for them? How is the pipeline? How is the workflow for this purpose?
So like the best way to just get started is downloading the app. Like you can download it for free, and then there's the Unity plugin is also for free, so you can try it out for yourself. The process involves exporting your existing Unity scene to Arkio. Then you could just start a meeting with other people that have Arkio installed on their device, and they can join in and start sketching on that model, or like start messing out some shapes based on how confident they already are with some of the tools in Arkio. The game developers that we currently are working with, they're still like, we're still waiting for like one of these games to be published. So like some of these are like, I cannot talk about too many of them because some of them are confidential, but like there are game developers that are working with these tools. Mm-hmm. And gray boxing, as they call it, is a very important part in game level design, and it has quite a bit of similarities actually to early stages of architecture. So we're happy to see that both the architects and game developers can use some of the same tools that we put in place. And there's also, like, it's interesting to mention, there's also quite a few hobbyist users that are using the app. And indie developers as well. So people that are just doing this as just for fun. They're just messing out a game level, or they're messing out their own home extension, and they're using our app for that. And we're always happy to see that.
Yeah, how easy it is to use it for someone who has never, like who is not an architect. How easy it is to use it.
It's relatively easy if you don't have any prior 3D experience. I would probably argue it would be even easier because it's very close to the physical model making. So you can just like it feels very natural to just pick up and move things in that way. If you have a bit of prior CAD or 3D experiences with Revit, you might see some similarities in how like some of the geometry moves. We have these flexible geometries that stay connected. So that might help you a bit in understanding the modeling engine. But we've seen users that had like no prior 3D or CAD experience just jump in there and start modeling their own house or entire metaverses with Arkio. It's always fun to see, because then it means that we're onto something.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. What's the vision of Arkio, let's say, in 10 years from now? How do you see Arkio? Where is it going? It's exciting to know about a startup that creates such a unique opportunity for professionals. And so we're curious about how is the vision there for this type of platform.
Yeah, it's a big vision. So I already briefly mentioned the components that we're adding now. So what we're putting in place now, all the basics for modeling, so that you can mass and block out a scene pretty good in Arkio. But a lot of our users, they want more. They want curves. They want like double curved surfaces even. They want curtain walls. They want all sorts of architectural elements that were typical in architecture software. And we get some requests from our game designers as well. Like they want like the loot boxes and the stairs they often use. So we're just we're looking for ways to empower all of these spatial designers, like finding the tools that would help all of them the most. But the vision is that we kind of shake up a bit the world of like the typical single user-based 3D tools with a collaborative spatial native design tool. So like people would just like when they're tired of looking at their 2D screens and building something in 3D and they want to build it spatially, they would come to Arkio and they would just do their suggestions or their changes together there, and then they just bring it back to the other tools if they want to go back to their 2D screen.
Yeah, thank you. So what are the other tools that people use typically for like up to the finish of the product? What are other tools come after this one?
For game design or for architecture or for which field?
Yeah, for architecture, and then if you can mention the ones for game design,
yeah.
so we have.
So in architecture, a very popular tool right now is Revit, building information modeling software. Arkio is another big player in there. They have like more conventional 3D modelers that don't have building information modeling data, so they don't work with like a door. You just basically have to model your own door. That's like Rhino and SketchUp, and there's a couple of others that are like more from the ground up 3D modeling. And SketchUp is actually also used a bit in game design for the gray boxing. But game designers, they typically stay as close as they can to their editor, like Unity or Unreal, because that's where they compile the game. So often what they do is they add an extension to those to Unity or Unreal to start modeling in those applications and gray boxing out their levels there already.
Yeah. Great. Wow, amazing. The app is available right now on the Meta Quest. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, you can download it for free. There's also on the iOS, Android store, and if you go to our website, you can get the Windows and Mac version of the app. And they're all download, like you can download them for free. There's like we have a plus subscription for indie developers, game designers that starts at $8 a month. And you can start a 14-day free trial if you want to try the pro functionality, which is basically meant for architects, but it allows you to have 24 people in the same 2D space, modeling, sharing models from Revit, Rhino. Like there's pretty crazy capabilities with that pro version of Arkio.
Wow, it sounds super exciting. Thank you so much. Is there anything that you wish I had asked you today besides, because I'm gonna also ask you how people can get a hold of you or for any potential partnerships or for any questions, etc.
No, I think we covered most of the things, like thinking of, no.
Thank you. So what it's the place where people can find you, or is it the website, or what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Yeah, the best way to get in contact with me would be via our website, so arkio.is, and over there you can see also like our support page, and you can find a contact form, and it just ends up often in my email anyway. So whenever you send an email to us, like it will often end up with me. If you want, you can also follow me on Twitter or other social media, but like our website, arkio.is, should give you everything you need for getting in touch.
Thank you so much. We strive here for making long-lasting connections. So if you ever have anything, news or anything that you want to share, please tag us in social media so we can reshare that and people can continue to have this relationship with you, knowing more about the company and becoming a fan, because really the app is absolutely amazing. This is the very first app that I've seen personally in the market that has these specific capabilities, and it's really a great opportunity to begin creating, to begin modeling and designing these amazing, buildings or environments in VR in the way that Arkio has been designed. Thank you so much. It's so unique, and we're super grateful, creators. We're super grateful with you guys creating this type of opportunity for us to be able to speed up our workflow and to make it easier. Thank you so much for this amazing product, for bringing this to the world, Johan.
You're more than welcome. We're happy to make a lot of people very happy, hopefully one day with this.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so thank you so much for being here today. For the listener, if you would like this episode, so then please subscribe and consider this sharing with many other people. As I mentioned, this is very, very useful for anybody who is in the design arena and is willing to maybe sketch some interiors, buildings, virtual spaces, or game environments. Thank you so much and see you in the next episode. Bye for now.